$25.3 billion. That is the amount 5 United States airlines collected in baggage fees alone between 2018 and 2023, according to a 55-page majority staff report the Senate Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations published in November of 2024. $12.4 billion more came from seat selection fees over the same 6 years from the same 5 airlines. The report's title calls the practice junk fees, and one of the 5 airlines named in that report no longer operates a single flight in the United States. The Senate investigation finished the same year the Biden administration tried to force airlines to disclose all their fees up front before purchase. The Department of Transportation issued the final rule on April 30th, 2024. Airlines sued. The Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals put the rule on hold in July of 2024. It remains blocked. The fees remain hidden by design. Today, we are going through 8 United States carriers and the fee practices documented in either the Senate report, the Department of Transportation enforcement record, or the carrier's own published policies. The 8th name on this list is the carrier whose fee model collapsed the airline itself. No brand on this list paid us. This is purely our research. Welcome to the Hidden Boarding Pass. Avoid number 8, Southwest Airlines. For more than 50 years, Southwest's central brand promise was 3 words: bags fly free. The slogan appeared in television advertising for half a century. 2 checked bags per passenger, no charge. In May of 2025, Southwest ended that policy. Standard passengers without elite status now pay for both bags. On April 9th, 2026, Southwest raised those fees again. The first checked bag is now $45. The second is $55. The fee reversal came 18 months after the Department of Transportation imposed the largest consumer protection penalty in its history against Southwest. $140 million for the December 2022 holiday meltdown that stranded more than 2 million passengers. 3 months after the bag fee increase took effect, the Department of Transportation and the Department of Justice jointly sued Southwest in the United States District Court for the Northern District of California over chronically delayed routes. For the companion pass loyalist who chose Southwest specifically because bags fly free was the brand promise the airline made in every advertisement for 50 years, the brand promise no longer exists. Avoid number 7, JetBlue Airways. On April 11th, 2024, JetBlue became the first major United States carrier to introduce peak pricing on checked baggage fees. The first checked bag rose from a $35 minimum to $39 on standard travel days. On peak travel dates, the same first bag cost as much as $70. A second bag during peak periods can exceed $80. In March of 2026, JetBlue raised the base fee structure again. The peak pricing model means a family flying JetBlue to Florida during spring break pays more per checked bag than the same family flying the same route on a Tuesday in February. On January 3rd, 2025, the Department of Transportation issued the first ever enforcement action of its kind in the agency's history. A $2 million penalty against JetBlue for chronically delayed flights on 4 specific routes between June of 2022 and November of 2023. The pattern is consistent. The fees climbed while the reliability declined. For the Northeast traveler who assumes the fare on the JetBlue homepage is the fare they will pay, the same flight in February and the same flight in November now charge 2 different prices for the same bag. Avoid number 6, Delta Airlines. Delta has not published a SkyMiles award chart since 2015. The SkyMiles program uses what Delta describes as dynamic pricing. The award price of a Delta flight is tied to the cash price of the same flight on the day of booking. The average redemption value for SkyMiles, according to independent analysis by the Points Guy, is approximately 1.1 cents per mile, among the lowest of any major United States airline loyalty program. In 2024, Delta increased the cost of redeeming SkyMiles for partner airline travel from the United States to both Asia and Europe. The increases were not announced in advance. SkyMiles members discovered the higher prices at the time of booking. The Senate Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations named Delta as one of the 3 major carriers in its November 2024 junk fees report. Delta also won J.D. Power's Premium Economy ranking for the 3rd consecutive year in 2025 with a score of 717. The airline's cabin product is documented. The loyalty program devaluation is also documented. Both describe the same airline. For the SkyMiles member who has spent 15 years collecting miles for the long-promised trip, the program no longer behaves the way the marketing for the program suggested it would. Avoid number 5. United Airlines. Basic economy passengers traveling on domestic United flights must put a credit card on file at check-in and agree to a $65 charge if they bring a full-size carry-on bag to the gate. The personal item is the only free option. The carry-on is $65 at the gate. No exceptions, no second chances, regardless of whether the passenger had been planning to use the bag or only brought it because the boarding agent at the previous airport let them through. The Senate Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations specifically named United in its November 2024 Majority Staff Report. The finding: United, alongside Spirit and Frontier, appears to label portions of charges as non-taxable fees in order to avoid the federally mandated transportation excise tax. The report recommends that the Treasury Department ensure transportation tax rules are uniformly understood and enforced. Treasury has not, as of this video, issued such a clarification. United also ranks 2nd among United States carriers in the 2025 AirHelp score with an overall 7.54, and the Federal Aviation Administration's October 2024 evaluation found no significant safety issues with the airline. The fees are not the operational record. They are a separate question. For the basic economy passenger who booked the cheapest fare to a wedding and did not read the fine print about the gate carry-on charge, the $65 is non-negotiable. You have heard 4 of the 8 United States airlines whose fee practices give you specific reasons to look more carefully before you book. The next 4 include the highest ancillary revenue share in the industry and the airline whose fee model collapsed the carrier itself. Subscribe to the Hidden Boarding Pass and hit the notification bell. Let us finish this. Avoid number 4. American Airlines. American was one of the 3 major carriers named in the Senate Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations Majority Staff Report. The report estimated that seat selection fees across the 5 airlines investigated totaled $12.4 billion between 2018 and 2023. On American specifically, seat selection in basic economy ranges from $10 to $40 per seat per direction depending on aisle, window, or middle preference. Extra legroom seats on long-haul international flights can exceed $100 per seat. A family of 4 flying basic economy from one coast to the other and wanting to sit together pays $80 to $160 more than the fare advertised on the booking page. If a basic economy passenger does not pre-select a seat at booking, the seat is assigned at check-in or at the gate. American does not guarantee adjacent seating for families even when seats are available. For the family of 4, booking American Basic Economy for a holiday trip who discovers at check-in that sitting together costs $80 to $160 more than the fare they already paid. The booking page did not tell them the family seating arithmetic in advance. Avoid number 3. Allegiant Air. Allegiant Air reported an all-time high ancillary revenue figure in the 4th quarter of 2024, $75.83 per passenger. That is the average revenue from fees alone per ticket sold. Of Allegiant's total revenue in 2024, 52.9% came from ancillary fees rather than from the base fare itself. Allegiant also charges a documented online booking fee of approximately $22 per segment for booking through the airline's own website. Travelers report that adding a carry-on, a checked bag, and a seat selection can nearly double the total cost of an Allegiant ticket compared to the advertised fare. The Department of Transportation's Office of Inspector General has published a report criticizing the Federal Aviation Administration's oversight of Allegiant maintenance practices. In 2019, the Federal Aviation Administration proposed a $715,000 civil penalty against the airline for operating an MD 88 on 28 passenger flights without diagnosing an exhaust gas temperature exceedance, the maintenance manual required to be corrected first. For the snowbird who flies Allegiant once a year because no other airline serves their hometown airport directly, the fare on the screen is now less than half of what the total trip costs. Avoid number 2. Frontier Airlines. Frontier led the entire United States airline industry in 2024 at 62% of total revenue from ancillary fees rather than from base fares. Frontier collected $861.6 million in baggage fees alone in 2024. The Senate Permanent Subcommittee on Investigation's Majority Staff Report documented 2 specific Frontier practices. First, Frontier paid its customer service agents at the departure gate $10 personally each time they charged a passenger for a bag carried onto the plane. Spirit Airlines and Frontier together paid approximately $26 million to gate agents in incentives to collect bag fees from passengers. Second, Frontier, along with Spirit and United, appears to label portions of charges as non-taxable fees to avoid the federally mandated transportation excise tax. In January of 2025, the Department of Transportation issued Consent Order 2025-1-2 against Frontier for chronically delayed flights, specifically Flight 131 between St. Thomas and Orlando, Flight 1563 between Atlanta and Phoenix, and Flights 1251 and 1043 between Orlando and Houston. For 3 consecutive years, Frontier has had the highest complaint rate of any major United States airline at 23.3 complaints per 100,000 passengers. For the family of 5 that picked Frontier because the base fare was $40 cheaper than the alternative, the gate agent who tells them their carry-on costs $99 is paid $10 personally for the charge. Avoid number 1. Spirit Airlines. A note before this entry: Spirit Airlines ceased all operations on May 2, 2026 and entered permanent wind down. The airline is no longer flying. 17,000 employees were terminated. Approximately 130 were retained to oversee the dismantling of assets. Spirit's inclusion at the top of this list is not as a carrier to avoid in the conventional sense. It is as the documented endpoint of where the ancillary fee model leads when followed to its conclusion. Spirit was one of the 2 airlines specifically named in the Senate Permanent Subcommittee on Investigation's report for paying gate agents to incentivize collecting bag fees. Spirit's ancillary revenue in 2024 was 58.7% of total revenue, second only to Frontier. Spirit generated $774.7 million in baggage fees in 2024 alone. The Senate report's tax avoidance findings named Spirit alongside Frontier and United. In November of 2024, Spirit filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy for the first time. It emerged in March of 2025, then filed Chapter 11 a second time in August of 2025. On May 2, 2026, the airline ceased operations entirely. The cessation was triggered when jet fuel prices doubled to $4.51 per gallon during the 2026 Iran conflict, while Spirit's restructuring plan had assumed $2.24 per gallon. The model could not absorb the shock. For anyone who looked at Spirit's $29 fare and decided the price was worth the experience, the airline that built the price model is the airline that no longer operates a single flight in the United States. 3 things are worth checking before any airline booking goes on a credit card. The first is the total trip cost, not the base fare. The base fare on the booking page is the marketing number. The total cost includes baggage, seat selection, change fees, and any peak pricing surcharges the carrier has not disclosed up front. The Department of Transportation's blocked transparency rule was specifically designed to make this calculation possible at the point of booking. Until the rule is unblocked, the calculation is the passenger's responsibility. The second is the fare class. Basic economy fares on every major airline carry restrictions and additional fees that standard economy does not. The savings on the cheaper fare are often less than the cost of the seat selection or carry-on charges that come with the cheaper fare class. The third is the carrier's most recent enforcement record. The Senate Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations Majority Staff Report from November 2024 is publicly available at hsgac.senate.gov. The Department of Transportation's consent orders are publicly available at transportation.gov. The airlines that have been formally cited by federal investigators are the airlines whose fee practices have been formally documented as a problem. The $25.3 billion in baggage fees and $12.4 billion in seat selection fees the Senate report tallied came from 5 airlines over 6 years. The number is real. The fees are real, and the airline whose practices most aggressively define the model is the one that no longer exists. Share this video with someone who has just booked a basic economy fare and does not know what the carry-on rules at the gate cost. If the hidden boarding pass has been valuable to you, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. And remember, the truth is not always on the boarding pass.